In a quiet neighborhood called St. Thomas Square, people were getting ready for a cold night, while the busy city of Tulsa, Oklahoma carried on as usual. January 5th seemed like any other night in an ordinary apartment, until just before midnight, something terrible happened. This event shocked the people living in St. Thomas Square, making January 5th a night they'd always remember.
I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. Please. I'm so sorry.
At 11:43 p.m., April Lyda called 911 in a panic. The Tulsa police arrived to find firefighters and paramedics already at the scene, helping 9-year-old Xander Lyda, who had been stabbed multiple times in the chest by his own sister.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
How old are you?
I'm 12 years old.
In May, video footage from a chest camera gave a first-hand look at what happened. Police took the sister away in handcuffs and started gathering evidence to understand what had occurred.
Where's the knife?
I was upstairs in my room and I threw it out the window and it's behind the apartment right here.
You threw it where?
I threw it out my window upstairs.
Right
not
up here?
not right there. It's the room. It's the other room. It's right behind the apartment. This apartment right here.
Surprisingly, it seemed like her mother, who was at home during the incident, learned about it at the same time as the police.
Where would the knife be? On that side?
Right behind. Yeah. The knife? I'm so sorry, Mama.
Normally, someone who does such a thing would be ready for the consequences, but this girl was different. She kept asking for forgiveness from her mother and the police, even suggesting she didn't do it. What was shocking was her explanation. She believed something evil had taken over her, causing her to hurt her brother.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. This is some demonic shit. I'm so sorry.
What's your mom say?
Some might find this explanation plausible given the nature of the incident, but there was more to the story. The girl continued to cry and ask for forgiveness, trying to help the police. They noticed cuts on her arm, both fresh ones from the same knife she used on her brother and older ones that had already healed, suggesting a history of self-harm.
Do you have any cuts on you?
I do.
Where at?
On my arm.
Which arm?
Both of them. My left one is just small cuts.
Did you cut yourself?
Yeah.
Is it just those? Those look old. Are they old?
This
Oh,
one
those-
and this
yeah,
one,
those are a little-
This one, those are old with like.
Do you have any
The
new?
one that's brand new. This was brand
That's
new
from
one.
today?
Yeah.
While the police were putting the handcuffs back on her mother joined them, showing concern but still confused.
What's gonna happen with her? I need to go to the hospital.
I don't know yet. You don't know yet. You go with the hospital. We'll come and talk to you, okay?
April, the mother, was torn between her two children, but chose to go with Xander to the hospital in the ambulance. She promised her daughter she would figure out what had happened and left, worrying that she might go to jail.
Whatever happens, just be calm, okay? I don't know what happened tonight.
So sorry.
We'll figure it out. I have to go be with your brother. Make sure he's okay.
I don't know what the I did. I'm so sorry. I love you.
In the police car, the girl shared a chilling detail. She didn't remember the act itself, only the bloody aftermath and the fear that followed.
Okay, it's okay.
I heard my brother screaming and I didn't know what to do, so I just ran out and then I came back because I was scared.
Her claim of demonic possession started to seem more believable. The police officer tried to comfort her without giving false hope, as she had already admitted to the crime and things didn't look good for her.
Will I be in jail?
Right now, let's just, calm down a little, okay? I don't know what we're gonna do right now, alright? But right now, we're investigating.
Despite her young age, she knew she was in serious trouble and couldn't see a future behind bars.
Deep breath, okay? I know there's a lot of things going on right now. Just take a breath.
I don't know why I did it.
Just take a breath. Let's not think about it.
Am I gonna be able to go back to school?
Huh?
Am I gonna be able to go back to school?
I don't know yet. Right now, we're just calling people. So I don't know when. Possibility. Yes, I don't know. I can't answer that for you, alright, Jen?
As the conversation continued, Her worries shifted to how her family would see her after everything.
I just want to say goodbye to a lot of people.
Say good. Where you going?
Jail.
You?
It's up to someone that's bad.
Oh.
That's really bad.
Let's not think about that, okay? Let's not think about that.
My mom won't want me to live there anymore.
Your mom loves you, okay? Your brother loves
They
you
won't
too.
trust me anymore.
She feared they wouldn't trust her anymore, and the officer explained that because she was only 12, she would likely go to a juvenile detention center rather than jail. During this conversation, Xander was in the hospital undergoing surgery, but sadly, his injuries were too severe and he didn't survive. The body cam footage then showed the girl arriving at the Family Center for Juvenile Justice, now officially considered a murderer.
We'll get you out of those handcuffs. This is me. Let's go through that door right there.
It was 3:52 a.m., over an hour after her brother passed away. She was allowed to use the bathroom after her handcuffs were removed, and a detention center staff member talked to the police about how to break the news to her regarding her brother's condition.
We're gonna leave it on just for a bit. How was she on the way here?
She was asleep. She was good.
Does she know?
No, she doesn't know. I'm not telling her anything yet.
Okay,
I'll let you do it.
I understand.
They wanted to give her some more time to compose herself.
Your mom's here too. They just pulled in. Okay? I'm gonna kind of walk you through everything, and we'll just go from there. And we'll just hang out in here for now, okay? Well, we're gonna talk to your mom first, and then we'll talk to both of you at the same time, okay?
The footage then shifted to a police officer questioning April Lyda, likely before 2:30 a.m. She was told that Xander was receiving care and still breathing.
Okay, so right now, he's breathing. They're doing everything they can, but I just talked to the doctor, and she was saying it's all good things right now.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
So
both my kids tonight.
April shared more about her daughter and what had happened earlier in the night.
Aggressive or anything.
yeah,
It's not like her. Like it's like they bully each other like brother and sisters, but they never like fist fight or do anything like that.
so
It
this
was
is
just
completely.
He was in bed. He was downstairs trying to sleep. I don't know why she even went down there. Like, what the hell was she? I don't understand any of it. All I know is I heard him screaming, the worst scream ever, and I thought maybe he was having a nightmare, so I started trying to wake him up, and there's blood everywhere. And he said, she stabbed me. I was like, ew. And he started going in and out of consciousness, and so that's what they told me to put him on the floor, do chest compression.
She mentioned that her daughter's behavior was completely out of character, as she had never shown violent tendencies before. This echoed what her daughter had said in the police car.
I mean, they don't really get along that great, but I never would have assumed she'd do something like that. That's crazy to me. Like, she was like, I don't know why. It was crazy. I don't know. She doesn't even curse. Like, I don't know. This is his own sister. You know that he will never forgive her. She will never. It will never be. There will always be issues now.
The rest of the footage shows the officer filling out a search warrant form for April to sign, and Xander's father and other family members arrived to comfort her. The final words of the footage summed up the whole night.
She thought that he was just having a nightmare until she saw the blood.
Okay.
So, and shit.
For several months, there was silence as the police collected evidence and conducted their investigation. In an interview with Chris Cuomo on News Nation, it was revealed that the attack was believed to be caused by a medication issue. The girl had been taking ADHD medication for 5 years, but stopped when she switched from public school to homeschooling. She resumed the medication a year and a half later, and that's when the negative side effects, like irritability and self-harm, began to appear. Although she was taken off the medication, The damage had already been done, leading to the tragic attack. As of now, April Lyda's daughter remains in police custody, as the Tulsa Police Child Crisis Unit continues its investigation.
Say, in terms of explaining how it got to that place?
No, all I know is she was having thoughts of stabbing him about 2 weeks prior. She reached out to a few of her friends and told them. And unfortunately, they were maybe afraid to tell the parents or me, but they did not. So I had no idea that she was having those thoughts.
No charges have been filed against her yet. A few days after the incident, a neighbor offered some words of advice to April. Stay strong, keep your faith, and don't give up on your daughter. Senior year of high school is typically an exciting time, marking a transition from childhood to adulthood with big dreams ahead. Meet 19-year-old Alexi Trevizo, known for her excellence in academics and cheerleading. She seems poised for a bright future. Unfortunately, a lie that spiraled out of control changed everything. Her ideal senior year experience was shattered, and her promising future took a tragic turn. On January 27, 2023, Alexi was taken to Artesia General Hospital by her mother, Rosa Rodriguez, due to severe back pain, a chronic issue she had suffered since childhood. What started as a routine hospital visit quickly took a shocking turn. During the examination, the hospital staff asked if she was pregnant. Alexi vehemently denied it, just as she had for several months. Despite her denial, a lab test confirmed that she was indeed pregnant. She continued to deny it, claiming she wasn't sexually active. As she was examined, Alexi suddenly rushed to the bathroom. Hospital surveillance footage showed her in distress, covering her backside. She locked herself in the bathroom, and concern grew as minutes passed. At 1:48 a.m., her mother checked on her but returned without her daughter. After another 10 minutes, hospital staff knocked on the bathroom door, worried about her condition, especially after learning of her pregnancy.
Knocked on the door and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm just having a hard time going to the bathroom," is what she replied.
After a while, I started hearing, so I probably checked on her 2 to 3 times, I'm not exactly sure. And then I just kept hearing paper towel dispenser and flushing and like the water running.
When around 20 minutes had passed, they used a key to unlock the door. Alexi left the bathroom after a tense period, leaving behind a horrifying scene.
All I saw was like blood everywhere, like on the walls, on the toilet. It just looked like a horror film.
We didn't know what this blood was from. We were a little concerned that maybe she had, known that we were gonna figure it out and that she might have harmed herself or something in the restroom, so the dog wanted to go check her, but obviously that wasn't the case.
The room was covered in blood, shocking the experienced hospital staff. Concerns arose about the amount of blood she had lost.
The doctor said she had a miscarriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said it seems, essentially, I'm not sure the exact words, so it was a few months ago, but she said, it seems that you've suffered from a miscarriage, which didn't seem totally abnormal. It seemed awful miscarriages where they're very bloody. And so...
was she bloody?
Mm-hmm.
Like her legs?
Yeah, she had blood all down her legs, and then there was blood in the bathroom everywhere, so...
Where exactly was the blood and how much?
It was a good amount. It was on the floor.
Alexi's doctor called the hospital's cleaning crew to sanitize the bathroom and clean up the blood trail. While disposing of the trash, a cleaner made a gruesome discovery.
And so I started getting the trash out, and then when I did that, I seen that there was a baby in there. And that's when I freaked out, and I called Lori and HT, or the nurses up front, and because there was a baby in the trash. And the baby, when I looked at it, the baby was wrapped up like at the bottom of the trash can, and with trash on top of it, in a trash bag.
A baby boy wrapped in soiled paper towels and a plastic trash liner, but sadly not alive. The cleaner immediately reported the findings, and the doctor examined the baby in another room. The police were called in, and they informed Alexi's mother of the situation.
First thing now is I need to make sure that the mother, the woman who delivered the baby, is medically stable. I don't know if she delivered a placenta. She's bleeding a lot. I just got her accepted to Loveless. So I need to get her up there as soon as possible.
Okay, take this over right.
Okay. We discovered a dead baby in the bathroom. Oh my gosh.
When Rosa Rodriguez learned the truth, Alexi told her that the baby had come out on its own and she didn't know what to do.
It's full term.
What?
Police informed them that due to the circumstances, they would need to be involved.
I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And that thing was crying. It came out with that.
As they questioned Alexi, her mother's anger and the stress on her weakened body prompted the police to remove her mother from the room.
Tell me the truth. You put it in the bag?
Yes.
Yeah. And what bag? Why did you say anything to us? Do you want to get in trouble for this now? You could get in trouble for
Mom,
this.
Mom, all right, just give it time, okay? I know you're scared, I know everything else, okay? As of right now, I cannot allow your mom to be in here with you, okay? So once the detectives get here, then she may be able to come back in here. But as of right now, I can't allow her to be back in here, okay? If you need something, we're not going to stay in here, okay? Because I think it makes it worse that we're here anyways, all right, obviously. And I know you're scared. So what we're going to do is we're going to stay on the outside of the door, okay? As long as you promise me you're not going to hurt yourself, okay? Like I said, this is a lot. I know it is, okay?
Alexi needed urgent care that Arteza General Hospital couldn't provide, so she was prepared to be airlifted to Loveless Women's Hospital Labor Delivery Unit. Just before being loaded into the helicopter, an officer informed Alexi that she was no longer detained, but that detectives would be in touch.
Okay, Alexi, so obviously you're getting transported, okay? So you're not detained no more. The detectives will be contacting you, okay?
Meanwhile, detectives spoke to Alexi's family, including her boyfriend and the baby's father, Devin Ferrero, who was present.
It's gonna go on like what? Can I be with her?
She's getting life flighted out right now.
Okay.
So they're taking her right now.
Okay.
They took his information and later learned that he was indeed the father.
That's her boyfriend.
Mr. Boyfriend, do you have a driver's license? I'm not trying to be rude, but you are more than likely would be the father? Okay.
Yes. No, we get it. We get it.
Detectives also spoke to Rosa Rodriguez to understand what had happened. During the conversation, Rodriguez revealed that Alexi had a history of back pain caused by domestic violence during her mother's pregnancy with her.
Has she been having back pain before?
Yeah, pain for her and her hips is no, I mean, she was born with like her, I don't know, it's like crooked.
Her spine?
Okay, because my ex-husband, he hit me. He beat me whenever I was pregnant with her. So she was early. She had some problems with her hips. Like I always had to take her to the chiropractor to get adjusted because she couldn't use it. Like she was always getting constipated. Like she had to get lined up, whatever. So, I mean, I've been taking her to chiropractor. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know she was pregnant. I didn't know. I just thought, like she said, I have back pain while my hips are hurting me. I think I need to go to the chiropractor. I said, okay, let's go tomorrow. But she was like in really a lot of pain.
Alexi had lived with this pain all her life, unlike the unborn child. Months passed as the investigation continued. An autopsy was performed, evidence examined, and staff members involved were interviewed individually.
When I picked it up, that's when I noticed it even more because all I saw was black and purple. But once we picked it up, like the bag suctioned to his face.
Something's in the trash can. I'm like, I looked in there, there's a clean liner. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, pick it up. I picked it, I could feel the weight. I knew then we had a serious problem. Reason for us to begin any life saving, the baby was completely gone.
Brought the baby up, we called the doctor obviously out of the room from her exam, and we came in, kind of, doc assessed the baby, and
Several nurses noted that Alexi appeared manipulative and more concerned about hiding her pregnancy from her mother than the well-being of the potential child.
Like we were being just deceived from the beginning, but that's just my take on it. It seemed like she was very manipulative with us. It was at least what it seemed like to me. She didn't want you to discover, that she was pregnant, and she wore really baggy clothing.
The umbilical cord looked like an animal had tore it apart. Have you ever eaten string cheese? And you know when you twist it, that's how the bottom of the umbilical cord looked. And I just remember it caught my eye, and I was like, God. I was like, this chick really ripped this thing apart.
I was really surprised not one person asked me about the baby. If it was alive, if it was dead, if it was a boy, if it was a girl, no one asked me anything. Not even, she didn't even ask. No, she didn't ask. The only thing she started doing was crying and started talking about she didn't know what to do. Not one. I've never seen I've delivered multiple babies and I've seen multiple miscarriages, and I've never seen a reaction like that.
On May 10th, police arrived at Alexi's residence with a warrant for her arrest.
I'm gonna be rough with her or anything. We're just gonna take her over there and book her.
Please don't be rough with her, please.
Just bring her out. You can be with her the entire time, okay?
Do you know where the public safety complex is? 3300 West Main?
Rodriguez initially resisted, but eventually, Alexi appeared at the door and submitted to her arrest. She was booked at the detention center, but released. Alexi was allowed to complete her senior year of high school without supervision, awaiting her child with a due date set for October 2nd. Tara Pakinich experienced the shock of a lifetime on the fateful Wednesday of February 23, 2022, in her Green Bay, Wisconsin home. She descended the stairs to check on her son, only to discover his absence. Puzzled, she retraced her steps upstairs and, to her astonishment, encountered something highly unusual. A shower towel concealed one of her buckets, and when she unveiled this macabre cover, she came face to face with the horrifying sight of her son's severed head. Shad Therian, a mere 24 years old, his life tragically cut short. The gruesome tableau awaited the arrival of law enforcement at the Pakinich residence. Tara's grim revelation led the officers to approach, and a gasp of disbelief escaped one of the officers' lips when his flashlight illuminated the gruesome contents of the bucket. The subsequent search for Shad's remains throughout the house only deepened the mystery. The crime scene, oddly pristine, bore no traces of blood on the bed, floor, or walls. Everything appeared immaculate, save for the dried bloodstains on the mattresses and pillow. The perpetrator had demonstrated meticulous attention to detail, rendering it almost as though nothing unusual had transpired. Following the search, Tara informed the authorities that Shad's childhood friend, Taylor, was the last person to have seen her son alive. Shad and Taylor shared a history that dated back to their middle school days, including a period of physical intimacy. The pursuit of Taylor commenced, and a bloody footprint near her residence marked the first sign of their progress.
Hey, who did that? Hi, Taylor, how's it going? Officer Russell with the Green Bay Police Department.
They tracked the trail and soon had Taylor in custody. Her apprehension was accompanied by a thorough search of her apartment, though it yielded no incriminating evidence.
Who else is in the apartment? Be straight up. Tomes? Who else? Just Tomes? Is he armed? Nobody's armed? Nobody's armed. You sure?
However, Taylor bore telltale signs of blood on her hands and sweatshirt. She was promptly placed in an interrogation room where the officer recited her Miranda rights before questioning began. Inexplicably, Taylor displayed an eerie composure, an unsettling ease that left one wondering whether this was the first time extinguishing another's life.
Understand each of these rights? Realizing that you have these rights, are you not willing to answer questions or make a statement?
Yes.
Do you know Shad? And how do you know Shad?
He's my ex.
He's your ex-boyfriend?
As the interrogation unfolded, deeply disturbing revelations emerged. Taylor and Shad had spent the day together at his home while Mrs. Pakinich was absent, and their interactions took a chilling turn. As a component of their usual intimate activities, she stated that they took pleasure in using a chain to exert pressure on each other's necks. To them, it constituted a playful game, a source of enjoyment.
There's this chain thing, right? And then, yeah, like I was playing around with it.
Okay.
And like we were smoking in the ditch, right?
Okay.
And then I'm terrible at explaining things, so let's see here. And then here comes the chain, right? And then we put it around his neck. Well, we were like playing around and shit, and then I don't know.
She asserted that Shad had a preference for being choked. However, it raises the question of what kind of chains they had employed previously, whether they were plastic, of a soft material, or made of metal. On this occasion, they opted for metal chains. With Shad lying face down on his bed, Taylor wound the chain around his neck, subjecting him to struggle for breath.
So there was a chain. What kind of chain?
It's the one that's on the same place as where the bitch and
Where would that be again?
I think it's on a dresser.
On a dresser?
Is it on a dresser?
I don't know either. I haven't been there. I mean, as best as you can remember. So you think that there could be a chain and the ice on a dresser down in the basement?
It's just weird. I got like a weird flashback on it.
In a stark departure from their usual practice, she unleashed an unrestrained frenzy, maintaining the tight grip around his throat until his life ebbed away. Her narration of the harrowing experience was punctuated by disturbing laughter.
I don't even know anymore. Like, it was weird. I was riding him like a donkey, okay? And then, like, I think so. I think that's what was happening. I was like pulling and then, like, I don't know.
Were you two being intimate, having sex?
It was getting there.
It was getting there, okay. So will this be considered foreplay?
Yeah, it was. And then, I don't know. And then, I just didn't stop. I don't know why. I didn't stop.
Following his demise, she proceeded to sever his head from his body, placing it inside a bucket, destined for his mother's shocking discovery.
Damn, the head. Yeah, I can't believe that.
Where'd you do the body?
The body's there. Yeah, it's
So we're gonna take the head somewhere?
I like that.
You liked it?
As per her account, she had initially intended to thoroughly disassemble and preserve Shad's body parts, but her motivation waned and she grew complacent.
I think it's a foot.
A foot?
A leg, maybe. I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna bring it all, and then I'm like, man, this is messy, so then I just left it. I got lazy.
Okay.
I got lazy, and that's what I did, so.
So there's gonna be maybe a foot or a leg in the van. And then,
Yeah,
what'd you do with the head?
I forgot that was in the van, so, yeah.
What'd you do with the head?
The head, I put it in that bucket, that black bucket.
As more details emerged, one couldn't help but notice recurring signs of premeditation in her words, or even more concerning, hints that she might have engaged in such activities previously. Similar thoughts may cross your mind when the detective inquires about the moment you realized Shad was no longer enjoying himself. Her response sends shivers down your spine. She recounted his painful demise, including the distressing detail of him losing control of his bodily functions. Despite recognizing these unmistakable signs of impending death, she persisted, not releasing her grip on Shad until he took his final breath.
Shit. I think I went a little too far, because I was blacking out while I was doing it, right? And then and then I look at him, I'm like, shit, he's already purple, I'm like, I don't know if he's fucking, is he good? But then when I woke up, during the blackout moment, I'm like, shit.
When questioned about whether she had planned to end Shad's life, she asserted that it was entirely spontaneous and unpremeditated.
Did you want Shad to be dead?
No, it was out of random. I wasn't expecting that, and it kind of threw me off guard. And it was in an open place, you went in the basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty open.
Well, I haven't been down there, but is it?
It is. So it was weird. It was really weird. And you open the door to the outside, and you go down the stairs, and it's right there. You can see everything, like right as you go down the stairs.
Whether it was due to the numerous drugs they had consumed and injected, or some other factors, Taylor attempted to absolve herself with a perplexing explanation regarding her mental state.
That's how messed up my head was. Like, I was really messed up. Like, I don't know what was going on. I was just going crazy. And then, I don't know what was going on at all. Because this, I think it was the open area. I wasn't in a room by myself. There was no door. It's an open area.
Here's another cause for skepticism regarding the randomness of this murder, as she claims. The police had examined her browsing history and discovered a search query she had entered in her search engine, quote, Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court looking attractive, end quote. It became evident that she took perverse pleasure in her malevolent actions, transforming them into a cruel game. She received a life sentence, as Wisconsin does not have the death penalty. Here's one of her most unsettling statements to the officers, quote, have you ever experienced the feeling of loving something so intensely that you end up killing it? The narrative of Lisa Knox Edwards stands out as one of the most peculiar incidents in the annals of modern law enforcement. This 6-decade-old woman met her demise while in the custody of Knoxville, Tennessee police, sparking ongoing debates concerning the circumstances surrounding her death, as well as potential misconduct or negligence on the part of the officers involved. The incident began when a police officer responded to a call at Fort Sanders Regional Medical Center, where a woman was reportedly refusing to vacate the hospital premises. Initially, the officer inquired if the hospital staff had indeed requested her departure.
Did the hospital ask you to leave?
To which she affirmed but explained her physical limitations due to an August 2019 stroke that left her partially paralyzed and unable to use her left side. Nevertheless, the officer persisted in instructing her to leave, unaware of her medical condition and ankle injury.
You got to leave though, they want you gone.
I know I can't even get to the floor.
You can't get where?
Huh?
You can't get to where?
I can't get back up there.
They don't want you back up there, they want you to leave their property.
I can't even out.
Despite her repeated explanations of her physical constraints, he perceived her reluctance as willful noncompliance, assuming that her presence at the hospital had caused disruptions.
I understand you say you got some problems going on. You're going to have to find a way to get out of here, okay? I don't want this to turn into a situation where you have to go to jail. If you're looking for somewhere to go because you're cold.
I shattered my ankle and I had a stroke.
Well, if the medical professionals have saw you and discharged you,
They won't.
I got nothing to do with that then, but you got to get going.
I can't even get down there.
You're going to have to figure out a way to get going.
I can't do it.
So you're saying that you're going to go to jail?
Can you call the preacher for me?
Who?
The preacher. I guess it was preacher.
No, ma'am, you have a phone right there.
I don't know the number.
Well, how am I supposed to know the number to call the preacher then if you don't know the number?
It was subsequently revealed that the wheelchair she was using belonged to the hospital and did not assist her in leaving.
It's the hospital's wheelchair.
Well, you're going to have to get up and figure out a way to get going.
I can't. Can I come in and try my phone number again?
In her continued pleas, she stressed her inability to depart, but the officer interpreted this as a refusal.
Please don't hurt me no more, so.
Okay, I'm done talking to you. You start talking nonsense like that, I'm done with you. You'll go to jail. Porter Bravo, can you have a wagon seen over here?
Consequently, the officer requested police transport wagons for Edwards and gathered her information, ultimately arresting her on charges of criminal trespassing.
Your info. What's your name?
Lisa Lynn Edwards. My daddy used to be constable.
What's your date of birth?
8662.
Additional officers arrived at the scene, moving Edwards outside the parking deck, where her pleas to avoid going to jail went unanswered. Due to her mobility issues and weight, the officers encountered significant difficulties trying to load Edwards into the van. Despite her consistent claims that she could not step into the vehicle, the officers grew frustrated, referring to her as dead weight and accusing her of hindering their efforts. At this point, Edwards began expressing difficulties breathing, wheezing, and requested for her inhaler. Moments later, she collapsed within the van. The officers took their time searching for her inhaler and even ridiculed her for having cigarettes while experiencing breathing problems. Despite her warnings of imminent loss of consciousness, the officers remained skeptical of her medical crisis, questioning the presence of an inhaler and attempting once more to place her in the van. At this critical juncture, Edwards lay helpless on the ground outside the vehicle. The police decided to load her into the back of one of their cars, as it had the lowest profile. Footage from inside the car exposed the severe distress Edwards was enduring. She not only struggled to control her bodily functions, but also audibly wheezed as she tried to breathe and maintain an upright posture. She implored the officers to take her to the hospital, but her pleas were ignored. As they proceeded to transport her to the detention center, she requested the officers to stop and assist her in sitting up for better breathing, but her request was denied. During the journey to the detention center, the officer transporting Edwards halted to aid another individual on the highway side. Upon returning to his interaction, he discovered Lisa Edwards unresponsive in the back seat. They made several attempts to revive her, but she remained unresponsive. Consequently, they called for medical assistance, and EMTs arrived shortly thereafter, transporting Edwards back to the hospital she had just left. Tragically, she passed away the following day. The autopsy indicated that Lisa Edwards died of an ischemic stroke, attributed to atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Additionally, she had several other underlying health conditions at the time of her death, including COPD and acute bronchitis. Despite the efforts of the local police department to keep much of the video footage from public scrutiny, Edwards' son and daughter-in-law tirelessly worked to release the video to the public. There were also marches and vigils held in memory of Miss Edwards. Following the investigation, the officers involved faced suspensions without pay for several days, and one was demoted from the rank of sergeant. This is the shocking case involving Chad Doerman, a deeply disturbing incident that left Claremont officers in the Monroe Township community devastated by the tragic murder of 3 children in a single household. On June 15, 2023, Claremont officers were alerted to an urgent call from the fire department as a young woman reported her father's shooting spree in Monroe Township, located 75 miles west of Columbus.
Can you tell how many people have been shot?
I think 2 children.
Okay. All right. I need. What was
that
your
I've seen?
There's a girl running down the street saying that her stepfather is killing everyone in her family.
And what did the female say to you?
And she says that her stepfather is killing everybody in her house.
Did she say how or what was happening?
I asked her to get in the car with me, and she said she couldn't leave her family.
The girl informed them that her father had shot all the family members, propelling the officers into rapid action as they rushed to the scene.
There's a male actively shooting at the firehouse.
What they encountered was a gruesome scene, with lifeless children sprawled across the yard. All 3 victims were under the age of 11, and they were all the offspring of the same individual, Chad Doerman. As the officers approached the scene, they urgently ordered Chad to stand and place his hands on his head.
Stand up! Stand up now! Stand up! Stand the fuck up!
However, he remained eerily composed, sitting as if he hadn't heard them. His apparent indifference was chilling, leaving the officers bewildered. It was unnerving to witness a man who had just taken the lives of 3 innocent children sit there, seemingly unperturbed, as if nothing was amiss.
Get your hands up.
The officers, seemingly as disturbed as any onlookers might be, forcibly apprehended Chad, placing him in handcuffs. They quickly checked on the children before summoning emergency services, but tragically, it was too late, as the children had already succumbed to their injuries.
21. Get the EMS over here.
Chad, incredibly, tried to assert his innocence, citing his clean record and claiming he hadn't used drugs or intended to harm anyone.
Man,
I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm completely sober. I did drugs when I was little, but I don't do drugs now. I'm sober. I'm not trying to fight you.
However, the ghastly sight led the officers to view Chad as an extremely dangerous individual, and they treated him accordingly.
Roll over. I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt nobody. You got anything on you? No, I ain't got nothing, man. Phone, that's it. I ain't mad. I ain't nothing. Just make sure that dog don't come out. I don't think he'll bite you. Just don't reach for him and try to grab him and pet him. All right. He won't bite you.
What's going on, man?
Nothing. Can I stand up? It's kind of uncomfortable.
I'm gonna get you here in a
I ain't
second.
running away. You can do whatever you want.
You the only one else inside the house?
What?
You the only one else inside the house?
Yeah.
Sit down right here.
My daughter, she ran over to the fire department.
Sit down.
It's my stepdaughter.
Put him in the cage.
This is Will.
While Chad had initially failed to comply with the officer's request to raise his hands were visible, and he shouldn't have been perceived as an immediate threat. Nevertheless, the officers considered him a potential danger and forcibly subdued him. Next to him on the ground lay the Marlin Model HC-22 rifle he had used to perpetrate the heinous act. As Chad was being led to the police vehicle, he requested that the officers retrieve his wallet. His request was hushed by the officers.
You get the wallet out of my back pocket?
Shut up, dude.
But before he was placed in the car, his wallet was removed at his request. The young victims who tragically lost their lives at the hands of their own father were 7-year-old Clayton Doerman, 4-year-old Hunter Doerman, and 3-year-old Chase Doerman. Investigations failed to uncover the motive behind Chad's horrifying actions, but he pleaded guilty to the charges and is currently being held without bail at Claremont County Jail. His court case commenced the following day, with the judge setting a $20 million cash bond. Chad faces a total of 21 charges, including 9 counts of aggravated murder, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 4 felony charges. As he was escorted into the police precinct, Chad displayed an oddly calm demeanor. He waited by a wall while the officers attended to administrative matters at the counter.
What's your name?
Chad.
Chad. What's your last name?
Gorman.
Gorman?
Dorman.
Dorman. Have you ever been here before?
I think one time for fight with Dad.
He appeared drowsy and uncomfortable in his handcuffs, pacing briefly before inexplicably beginning to strike his head against the wall.
Don't be doing that, man. Don't be beating your head on the wall, okay?
Yeah.
Officers quickly cautioned him against such actions. Throughout this process, there was no indication of resistance from Chad. He watched calmly and responded quietly when questioned by the police.
Do you have any weapons or drugs on you?
No.
Anything that's gonna poke me, stick me, or hurt me?
No.
Okay. Put your hands up there. Do a pat down and get everything out of your pockets.
Several minutes later, Chad was searched and placed in a cell.
You see the mama's foot. Bend it up here to me. There you go. Alright, we're gonna step straight up to the counter, in front of that blue bag there to the left. Is he getting evidence bags or? Push. See your hands. I'm gonna take this cuff off. Put your hand up here, palm down, okay? Same with this.
His full cooperation and respectful demeanor left observers wondering about the circumstances that led to this unimaginable tragedy. What could have compelled him to commit such a horrendous act? How did he carry it out? Investigations have yet to provide definitive answers on these questions, but some unsettling details have emerged. Reportedly, Chad had been planning these actions for months, with his resolve to harm his own children dating back to October of 2022. Court documents revealed that Chad had spent 4 days away from home leading up to the murders. On the fateful morning, he called his boys and his 34-year-old wife to join him for a nap in the master bedroom. Once they were settled in, he retrieved a Marlin Model HC-22 rifle from the gun safe and loaded it in the living room of their home on Lauren Lindell Road. His 12-year-old stepdaughter was watching TV when the first 2 shots rang out, creating chaos within the family. She appeared in the doorway, and his wife screamed at the other boys to run while attempting to help. Chad chased down and shot one of them twice, once from a distance. In a second, close-range encounter, the girl managed to carry the third boy and flee. However, Chad brandished the gun, forcing her to put the boy down, after which he shot him. Following the completion of his grim mission, Chad sat by the steps with his rifle beside him, appearing to have been waiting. In a court statement, Chad confessed to the crime, admitting that he should never have committed such a heinous act. The motives behind his actions remain shrouded in mystery, and until a comprehensive investigation is made public, the true nature of the events leading up to this tragedy will remain unknown. Aaron Hernandez was a young man who seemingly had everything going for him. He excelled at college football, playing for the University of Florida Gators, and by the time he was just 20 years old, he entered the NFL draft. He was picked in the 4th round by the New England Patriots, and in 2012, he even reached the Super Bowl, although the team came up short despite managing to score a touchdown. That same year, he inked a lucrative $40 million contract extension and received a substantial $12.5 million bonus. On the surface, it appeared that he had it all, but in reality, his life was marked by more challenges than triumphs. He had a history of violence, and accusations followed him for an extended period of time. In 2013, Aaron became friends with Odin Lloyd, who played football but wasn't a pro, and Odin was dating Aaron's fiance's sister. On June 17th, Odin was found dead near Aaron's home with gunshot wounds. This made Aaron a suspect, and his life started falling apart. On that day, Aaron, along with his friend Carlos Ortiz and Ernest Wallace, picked up Odin from his home. We have a video from the same day at a gas station where Aaron helped Ortiz get into the car while getting gas. Something seemed strange, especially in how Aaron was acting. He seemed to be dancing before going into the store, and danced again after coming out. Later, he put Ortiz in the back seat. We can't be sure if they were drunk or not. On the same day Odin was killed, the same day we saw Aaron and Ortiz at the gas station, they seemed drunk. There's another video of the same day when Ernest and another friend were returning to Aaron's home. The car was damaged and they rushed into the house, trying to get inside before the garage door fully opened. In the video, Aaron had a gun in his hand, and an expert said it was the same type of gun used in Odin's murder, a Glock 45 caliber pistol. This video also shows Aaron with the gun before and after the murder. A day later, Aaron was caught on camera destroying his cell phone after being questioned by the police. Although the motive for the crime remains unclear, Aaron was found guilty of killing Odin Lloyd and sentenced to life in prison. Then, on April 19, 2017, he hanged himself in his jail cell. On the night of December 7, 2000, Trevor Deely attended his office Christmas party at a nightclub near the Bank of Ireland in Dublin, where he had been working in the IT department for about a year. When he left the party at 3:30 a.m., there was a taxi driver strike, so he had to walk home through an area known for crime and gang violence. It was a 20-minute walk, and since his office was nearby, Trevor decided to stop there and pick up his umbrella before continuing home in the rain. Interestingly, the bank's security cameras captured a man dressed in black standing behind one of the pillars of the bank's gate. This man remained there for almost half an hour before Trevor arrived. Just after 3:30, the man in black took a phone call, and a moment later, Trevor walked by, also on his phone. Police later discovered that, at that exact time, Trevor had called a coworker who was still at the bank. The CCTV footage shows Trevor reaching the bank's gate, and another man dressed in black emerges from the shadows to speak with him. While it didn't appear they knew each other, Trevor didn't seem alarmed. The man simply stood by the gate as Trevor entered. A few minutes later, the man in black walked out of view. Trevor's coworker reported that he and Trevor had tea that night and chatted about the party, and Trevor briefly used his work computer just before leaving the bank at around 4 a.m. The CCTV footage shows Trevor stepping onto the street and opening his umbrella before heading home. He didn't appear to be followed, and at about 4:06 a.m., he left a voicemail for a friend, reassuring them that he was okay and on his way home. Sadly, this voicemail would be the last contact anyone had with Trevor Deely. At 4:14 a.m., Trevor was captured on an ATM camera about 15 minutes from his apartment. In less than 30 seconds, another man in black appeared on the screen, seemingly following Trevor. In 2016, after digitally enhancing the CCTV footage, the police concluded that the man in black from the bank was the same individual who later followed Trevor. This marked the last sighting of Trevor alive. Trevor didn't show up for work on Friday, but his coworkers didn't find it unusual, given that many were recovering from the party and had taken the day off. However, when Trevor's friends and family couldn't reach him over the weekend, and he didn't return to work on Monday, he was reported missing. His friends and family initiated the search, and it was they, not the police, who obtained the troubling CCTV footage from that night. Unfortunately, they didn't gain access to it until 4 days after his disappearance, which meant valuable time had been lost in the search. Several theories about Trevor's disappearance have circulated over the years, but none have been confirmed. Some speculate that he may have been intoxicated that night and accidentally fell into a body of water under a bridge, but thorough searches by the Irish police found no evidence of this. Most people believe that the mysterious man seen following Trevor in the CCTV footage is somehow connected to his disappearance, but this individual remains unidentified to this day. In 2017, an anonymous tip suggested that the man who followed Trevor that night was a gang member. Allegedly, he murdered Trevor when Trevor refused to assist him in gaining access to the Bank of Ireland. According to this source, Trevor was buried in the woods a few miles from where he was last seen. Despite an extensive search effort involving 20 police officers and a search dog, the search was called off after 2 months, and Trevor Deely's unsettling disappearance remains an open and active case 23 years later. The events leading up to this, however, remain shrouded in mystery. On November 28, 2012, a perplexing incident occurred in Victoria, British Columbia, when Emma Filipoff vanished in unusual circumstances. Just a year before her mysterious disappearance, Emma had realized her lifelong dream of relocating to Perth, Ontario, to the Canadian West. Upon her arrival in Victoria, she lacked both a job and a permanent residence. Nevertheless, she swiftly moved in with a friend and secured employment at a local cafe while searching for a stable place to live. Initially, things appeared to be on track for Emma. However, as winter approached, her behavior began to take an alarming turn. According to her roommate, Emma began displaying obsessive-compulsive behaviors, erratic actions, and even seemed to experience manic episodes. A few months after arriving in Victoria, Emma abruptly left her friend's apartment, quit her cafe job, and began living wherever she could find shelter, including hotels, the woods, and boats in Victoria's harbor. By early 2012, she had settled into a woman's shelter in Victoria. During that summer, Emma secured a seasonal job at Redfish Bluefish, a popular seafood restaurant in Victoria's Inner Harbor. For a while, she appeared content, and it was around this time that she purchased a red Mazda MPV van with an intention of living on the road, traveling to various cities in the US, Mexico, and Canada. However, her plans for freedom were thwarted as her mental health deteriorated, causing her behavior to become increasingly erratic and unpredictable. In the months leading up to her disappearance, friends and shelter staff noted Emma's paranoia concerning an unnamed man she had dated during her time as a culinary student in Perth. She never disclosed whether she maintained contact with this individual, but it seems to be a source of her heightened paranoia. A few weeks before she vanished, Emma exhibited bizarre behavior by moving furniture from the woman's shelter across the street, claiming she heard voices emanating from the furnishings instructing her to do so. During this period, she also gave away or sold many of her personal belongings. On November 20th, there exists CCTV footage of Emma at the YMCA in Victoria. In this peculiar video, she can be observed entering and exiting the building multiple times within a 14-minute span. Some individuals have speculated that she might have been attempting to evade someone, while others suggest she may have been waiting for a ride and didn't want to endure the freezing cold outside while waiting. However, neither of these theories has been substantiated. 3 days following the recordings of this footage, Emma engaged in a series of emotionally charged phone conversations with her mother. During these discussions, Emma expressed a desire to return to her mother's residence in Perth. Her mother agreed, but grew increasingly concerned as Emma vacillated between returning to Perth and returning to Victoria through their conversations. On November 28th, Emma's mother became aware of her staying in a woman's shelter when she called back a number that Emma had used and a staff member answered the phone. Troubled by her daughter's well-being, Emma's mother promptly flew to Victoria. Early on that same day, at approximately 8:30 a.m., CCTV footage captures Emma entering a 7-Eleven convenience store and purchasing a $200 prepaid card. Later in the afternoon, she returned to the same store to buy a prepaid cell phone, which she never activated. The video shows Emma repeatedly glancing out the window and hesitating before leaving the store, as if she may have been trying to avoid someone outside. Although her behavior indicated she might have been followed or threatened, this was never confirmed. Emma returned to the shelter around 6 p.m. to discover that her mother was en route to pick her up and take her home. Upon learning this news from a staff member, Emma hastily left the shelter and took a cab to the airport. However, moments later, she abruptly terminated the ride, claiming she couldn't afford the $60 fare despite reportedly having over $2,000 on her at the time. Dennis Quay, an individual acquainted with Emma, encountered her later at around 8 p.m. near a crossing outside the Empress Hotel. Emma was barefoot, and Dennis observed her displaying signs of extreme agitation. She hesitated to cross the street. Concerned about Emma's behavior, Dennis inquired if she believed she was being followed. Emma assured him that she was not. Unsure of how to handle the situation, Dennis contacted the police to report a disoriented and distressed woman walking barefoot in front of the Empress Hotel. Within minutes, the Victoria police arrived and engaged in a 45-minute conversation with Emma. Surprisingly, the officers determined that she did not pose a threat to herself or others, subsequently allowing her to leave. Regrettably, this marked the last known sighting of Emma. 3 hours after her disappearance, Emma's mother arrived at the women's shelter to collect her daughter, but Emma was nowhere to be found. Subsequent to her mother's report of her disappearance, the search for Emma Filipoff commenced the following morning. Investigators located Emma's red van in the Chateau Victoria Hotel parking lot, where she had arranged for it to be towed 3 days prior to her disappearance on November 25th. Inside the van, all of Emma's belongings, such as her laptop, passports, a pillow, and clothing indicating the possibility of planning to return to Perth or embark on a journey, were found. Sadly, this marks the point at which Emma's case went cold, except for a few enigmatic tips. In 2014, an individual wearing a green shirt entered a convenience store located in Gastown, approximately 75 miles north of Victoria. According to the store owner's account, this individual forcibly removed a poster that advertised a $25,000 reward for locating Emma. He conveyed to the owner that Emma was not missing, asserting that she was his girlfriend and had been residing with him. He further claimed that she had left her family due to a strong dislike for them. Despite the store owner's report to the police, the identity of this man remains undisclosed. 4 years later, in 2018, nearly 6 years after Emma's disappearance, another individual came forward, confirming that he had encountered her on the morning following her vanishing. He admitted that he had not previously connected the woman he had seen with Emma. According to this individual, Emma stood by the roadside, barefoot and drenched, displaying signs of nervousness and paranoia as she requested a ride. She stated her intention to visit a friend in Colwood, situated approximately 10 miles from Victoria. Although the man explained that he couldn't drive her that far, he did transport her a few miles and dropped her off at a nearby gas station. Following this encounter, Emma remained unseen by anyone. Curiously, the identity of the friend she mentioned planning to visit remains shrouded in mystery. Despite her mother's relentless years-long search for her daughter, the reason behind Emma's disappearance remains a mystery. Some individuals speculate that she may have become a victim of the man she mentioned dating in Perth, even though the police thoroughly interrogated him and eventually cleared him of suspicion. Another possibility is that she was abducted by the individual in the green shirt seen in the footage. Given Emma's deteriorating mental state in the weeks preceding her disappearance, some believe that her mental health challenges may have overwhelmed her. As 11 years have passed, law enforcement authorities are still unable to determine whether Emma departed the island at all or if she continues to remain somewhere unknown. The puzzling vanishing of the Jamison family in 2009 garnered public and media attention following the discovery of unsettling footage by the police. Residing in Eufaula, Oklahoma in 2009, Bobby and Sherilyn Jamison, along with their 6-year-old daughter Madison, appeared to lead ordinary lives. However, beneath the surface, the Jamisons' marriage was troubled, prompting investigators to explore whether their challenging circumstances played a role in their disappearance. Leading up to their vanishing, the couple grappled with financial difficulties. Since 2003, they had been on disability due to Bobby's debilitating back pain resulting from a severe car accident. Sherilyn, diagnosed with bipolar disorder, sometimes opted not to take her prescribed medication, adding to the complexity of their situation. In 2009, the Jamison family embarked on a journey to Red Oaks, Oklahoma, approximately 30 miles away from their Eufaula residence, to inspect a 40-acre plot of land. Their specific request was to view the property without the presence of a real estate agent. They had shared with their friends and family their intention to relocate there and begin anew, a decision prompted by the disagreement with their daughter's school, leading to the withdrawal of their 6-year-old daughter Madison from kindergarten. Throughout the week, they remained out of contact, as the Jamisons were known for their penchant for periods of seclusion, often going off the grid for weeks at a time. No immediate concern arose regarding their absence until a pair of hunters stumbled upon their abandoned truck on a remote dirt road at the edge of the woods 9 days after their last sighting. Inside the vehicle, authorities discovered a GPS, cell phones, empty prescription pill bottles, wallets, and a surprisingly large sum of $32,000 in cash, a stark contrast to their reported financial struggles. Additionally, the family's dog was found alive but severely dehydrated and malnourished inside the truck. A further unsettling discovery was made: an 11-page angry letter from Sherilyn to Bobby, accusing him of various grievances and ominously stating, "I would not wish my daughter to be raised in foster care because of you being in prison for attempted murder and her mother dead." The circumstances surrounding the Jamison family's disappearance remain shrouded in mystery, but a search effort commenced in the vicinity of the abandoned truck. Over 9 months, a search team comprising 400 volunteers, 16 search dogs, unmanned drones, planes, horses, and a specialized search unit meticulously scoured the woods. During this period, unsettling footage recorded by the family's home security cameras on the day they vanished was uncovered by authorities. In the video footage, Bobby and Sherilyn can be observed as they load their truck in preparation for their trip, but there is an immediate sense of something amiss. The couple makes more than 20 trips back and forth to the truck, at times placing items in the vehicle only to retrieve them and return them to the house, repeating this process. Curiously, several times they walk from the truck to the house and back without carrying anything. Adding to the eerie atmosphere, the couple changes clothing multiple times during the video, and their interaction with each other is notably absent. A psychologist consulted to analyze the footage attributed the bizarre, trance-like movements and odd behavior to potential drug use, given Bobby's history, although this was never confirmed. Delving further into the Jamisons' lives, the police encountered additional perplexities. A close family friend, a pastor, revealed that shortly before their disappearance, Bobby had shared his belief in spirits residing on his roof and had even requested multiple exorcisms. Moreover, Bobby had been reading the Satanic Bible in an attempt to rid his home of these spirits. Friends and family members also reported a sense of haunting in the house, often describing paranormal encounters and an overwhelming malevolent presence during visits. Despite these claims, it was known that Sherilyn was involved in some form of witchcraft, regularly conducting seances at her home and discussing supposed paranormal experiences. Additionally, she had cats that, when they passed away, she suspected were poisoned by the neighbors, leading her to spray paint the words, "Witches do not like it when their cats are killed," on a large metal storage container on the Jamisons' property, further fueling the enigma surrounding the case. However, it wasn't until November 2013, 4 years after the Jamison family's disappearance, that their skeletal remains were discovered by 2 deer hunters approximately 3 miles from where their family's abandoned truck had been located 4 years earlier. Due to the advanced state of decomposition on the bones, it took an additional 8 months for forensic investigators to conclusively identify the remains as those of the Jamison family. Unfortunately, due to the condition of the skeletal remains, the causes of their death could not be determined. Given the multitude of unsettling events and perplexing circumstances leading up to the family's vanishing, numerous theories emerged regarding their fate. Initially, police scrutinized Bobby Jamison's father as a potential suspect in the murders. Several months prior to the family's disappearance, Bobby had filed a lawsuit against his father, seeking $10,000 for unpaid work at his father's gas station, with promises of future ownership. However, when his father sold the gas station and reneged on the agreement, Bobby obtained a restraining order against him after receiving multiple death threats. Although Bobby's father had a history of methamphetamine use and criminal activity, authorities eventually ruled him out. One prevalent theory suggests that, considering Bobby's history of drug use and the unexplained discovery of $32,000 in the family's vehicle, it's plausible that the Jamisons may have been connected to the drug trade and met their end in a botched drug deal. The area where the bodies were found was known for drug activity, but no concrete evidence has surfaced to substantiate this theory. Law enforcement discovered a small hole on the back of Bobby's head. Yet, forensic specialists have concluded that it was too small to be consistent with a bullet wound and was more likely the result of post-mortem animal activity. Some individuals have put forth the theory that the Jamisons might have been entangled with a cult. The enigmatic symbols and cryptic writing discovered on the family's truck appear to bolster this notion. Additionally, Sherilyn's own mother asserts that her daughter was on a cult's hit list for unspecified reasons. While cult activity had been reported in eastern Oklahoma since the 1990s, its prevalence had dwindled over the years, and no concrete evidence has been found linking the Jamisons to a cult. Given the presence of a hate-filled letter in the truck and the couple's history of mental health challenges and substance abuse, some speculate that either Bobby or Sherilyn may have perpetrated the murder of their family before taking their own lives. However, with no corroborating evidence at the scene to substantiate these theories, the case remains unsolved after 14 years. Law enforcement and investigators continue to search for fresh leads, but currently, there are no suspects in the disappearance and homicide of the Jamison family. On the evening of July 29, 2015, Stephen Mackerel joined his brother and friends for a night out at Lucky's Tavern, a popular bar in downtown Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Stephen's brother departed at 11 p.m. to prepare for work the following morning, advising Stephen, who was inebriated, to return home safely. However, around 1:30 a.m., Stephen and his friends left the bar with the intention of meeting up in the parking lot of a nearby Walgreens to discuss their plans. Tragically, Stephen never reached the Walgreens, and his friends never saw him again. Stephen resided with his parents and worked as a professional poker dealer at a casino in Hollandale Beach near Fort Lauderdale. Concern grew when he failed to return home and missed work. Although numerous surveillance systems were present in the area where Stephen was last spotted, it was estimated to take weeks to compile the pertinent footage. During this period, investigators conducted interviews with the friends and family members who had last seen Stephen, speculating that he may have been involved in an accident due to his intoxicated state. Search efforts encompassed multiple lakes and ponds, yielding no significant discoveries. The investigation further complicated when it was revealed that Stephen's phone had run out of battery at the bar, and because the phone remains inactive thereafter, law enforcement was unable to employ it to track his whereabouts. At the time of his vanishing, Stephen was 25 years old and had a 1-year-old daughter, as well as a committed long-term girlfriend with whom he had plans to marry. Friends and family staunchly asserted that Stephen was not inclined to willingly abandon his life and disappear without providing any explanation. Regrettably, certain findings from the investigation strongly indicated that Stephen's disappearance was not a choice he made. Approximately 2 weeks after his last known appearance, investigators uncovered evidence that Stephen had used his credit card at a gas station in Pompano Beach, situated about an hour's drive from the bar. The 15-mile detour from the bar to the gas station puzzled everyone. Surveillance footage from the gas station depicted Stephen entering the store at 2:26 a.m., appearing visibly intoxicated as he clumsily shopped for snacks. The store owner seemed untroubled by his behavior, and within a minute, Stephen approached the counter to pay for his snacks using his credit card. Subsequently, he engaged in a brief conversation with 2 young women in the gas station, although this occurred outside the camera's view. Nearly a week later, additional footage surfaced, dramatically altering the course of the investigation. In this CCTV footage, Stephen could be seen standing beside his 2013 white Ford Fusion in the parking lot, engaging in a confrontation with the driver of an unidentified silver sedan. As the silver car departed, Stephen stepped back and hurled what appeared to be his drink at the driver, before gesturing with his hands as he returned to his vehicle. 3 minutes later, the silver sedan circled back into the gas station, positioning itself directly behind Stephen's car. The intentions of the driver remain undisclosed, but upon Stephen's departure to his Ford, the silver sedan sped after him. Tragically, this marked the final sighting of Stephen. All that was known about the driver was that he was an African-American man who had entered the gas station shirtless a few minutes prior to the incident, but remained unidentified. Over the course of 8 years, Fort Lauderdale police have conducted an extensive search for Stephen's car. His license plate never triggered any license plate readers, indicating that he likely remained within the Fort Lauderdale vicinity. Search teams explored over 20 bodies of water in hopes of locating the vehicle, but to date, nothing has been discovered. Alarmingly, these searches uncovered nearly 20 other vehicles in nearby lakes, ponds, and canals, including stolen vehicles bearing bullet holes. Yet none were connected to Stephen's disappearance, providing no leads. As of 2023, detectives and investigators remain in the dark, uncertain whether Stephen met with an accident or fell victim to something considerably more sinister. In this video, members of the Volusia Sheriff's Department in Florida approached a young man and his friend who had parked in a driveway.
Stop, stop, stop. Step out of the car for us. Stop, both of you, stop. Step out of the car for me, man.
The officer requested that the youths exit the vehicle, which they comply by raising their hands. Repeatedly, the officer inquires if the young man possesses a weapon, eventually leading to the separation of the youth from the car and subsequent handcuffing.
No guns on you, nothing like that, man? All right, step out for me, bud. We'll explain what's going on here in a minute, sir, okay? Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Okay, you don't have a gun or anything on you, right, man? All right, step away from the car. Step away from the car. Step away. Stop!
The officer admonishes the young man multiple times, though the exact offense committed by the youth remains unclear. The situation takes a turn moments later when the officer points out the presence of a firearm on the ground.
Stay over there for me. Step over there. Put him up against the front of the car. You freaking stupid? Huh? You freaking idiot? pulled the gun out as we're trying to get him to step out of the car. Yes. No, we were trying to get him to step away from the car.
Evidently, the 18-year-old suspect, Brian Holmes, had attempted to conceal the weapon while conversing with the officer. The incident had originated from Brian's driving, during which he had forced another vehicle onto the shoulder after making contact with its rear bumper. He subsequently fired shots at the vehicle multiple times, fortunately without causing any injuries. Weapons can pose a significant threat when in the possession of troubled young individuals. The same concerns apply to children who may be too young to distinguish right from wrong, as exemplified by these two 12-year-old boys who were discovered engaging with a firearm not far from Daytona Beach, Florida. The video commences with a 911 call from a woman who reports witnessing two young boys aiming a gun at passing vehicles.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. We're at Brook Circle in US 1. It was those two little kids, and as we were driving past the property, the little kids were standing out in the field. It appeared that he had a handgun and he was pointing it at our car as we were driving by.
Upon arriving at the scene, the police officer instructs the juveniles to raise their hands.
Put your hands up! Stop running right now! I'll send a dog to you! Put your hands up! Come out to me right now! Bullshit! Get out here now!
As they were concealed in a sheltered area adjacent to the road, the police officer draws her own firearm and instructs them to come out.
Let me see your hands! Stop right there!
The boys explain that they had a gun and were discharging it away from the road.
How old are you? We are both 12. Keep your hands where I can see them. You drop them, bad things are going to happen. You understand me? What the hell are you doing out here? Is this your property?
Afterwards, she inquires about the gun's location, searches the boys, and proceeds to handcuff both of them before recovering the loaded firearm from beneath a section of fencing.
Where's the gun? I saw you with it in your hand. What do you mean? Lying to me is not a good deal, dude. No, I can't. Put your hands behind your back. Am I under arrest? I'm securing you for my safety and yours right now. Well, at least I got a tetanus shot recently, so it's got to be around in here somewhere. 3, 4. Oh yeah. He's got some in the chamber, one in the ready to go. Fabulous. All right, back out.
Both suspects faced charges for discharging a firearm and firearm possession by an individual under the age of 16. Additionally, the boy who allegedly aimed the gun at a witness was charged with aggravated assault with a firearm. The case of Morgan Leppert in 2008 is well known to many residents of Florida. At that time, she was just 15 years old and had made plans with her then-boyfriend, 22-year-old Toby Lowry, to leave the state together. In pursuit of their plan, they unlawfully entered the home of an elderly disabled man, ultimately resulting in his tragic death, as they intended to steal his truck. The courtroom footage reveals Morgan Leppert listening to her recorded confession, where she openly acknowledges both striking and stabbing the defenseless victim, James Thomas Stewart.
I looked away. I was about to cry. I was about to tell Toby I don't want to do this, but Toby just already hit him, and he's like, come on, baby, come on, hit him. No, he's like, why are y'all gonna kill me? I'm already half dead anyways.
Consequently, Leppert and Lowry received life sentences for their heinous actions. On May 18, 2018, Seattle police officers responded to an incident in Franklin High School following the discovery of a loaded handgun in a student's backpack.
Good, how are you?
This backpack's for heaps of cologne, so because it's going to cover up the marijuana smell.
This is bio.
Okay.
Just so you know, you guys being audio being recorded.
Yeah.
I haven't checked the rest of the backpack, but first pocket I checked, I could feel.
The individual in question, an 18-year-old student, had been summoned to the school office due to suspicions of smelling like marijuana. However, when informed that his backpack would be subject to a search, he admitted to having a loaded firearm.
It was in the classroom, so he was saying, he looked real nervous, and I said, "You have something in your bag that you shouldn't have?" And I said, "Marijuana?" And he goes, "Not marijuana." And he goes, "Well, I just don't know, there might be something in there, so.
Okay. All right. Well.
And I have not checked the rest of the bag, so I will do that unless this gives you guys probable cause to do the rest of the bag. Everything I have.
Yeah, we'll take the bag.
Okay.
The school authorities handed over the backpack to the police, who subsequently retrieved the loaded weapon. The police then conducted a meticulous search of the bag, documenting the firearm's serial number and relaying this information to dispatch.
To run when you're ready. Go ahead. It's a 6-hour model 938 and serial number 52 boy 227378.
The backpack was returned to the young man's grandmother, and he was interviewed by the police.
We went through this. There's nothing else in there, so we figure you guys either can keep it or we can give it to grandma to take it home. Then we'll have to deal with it. The gun is stolen.
Okay, that's right.
So he's going to jail. So we'll go talk to him and find out.
Got anything on me that's gonna poke me, stick me, hurt me? Okay. Alright, go ahead, have a seat for me.
Initially, he claimed to be unaware of the gun's presence in his backpack and suggested that his cousin had borrowed it. During this conversation, the police discovered another individual's credit card in the young man's wallet.
So, what's going on today? Why are we here?
So, I got called down for the 4 referrals that I got in the last week. They said I smelled like weed, and then they went to go get my backpack. They asked me, did I have weed in my backpack? I said, oops, I might have weed in my backpack, saying basically, yeah, I have weed. And then they came down and they searched me. Then there was a gun in my backpack, and I did not know nothing about it. And I was lost and confused about everything. And then they called you guys down here.
Okay. You didn't know there was a gun in your backpack?
No, sir.
Is it your backpack?
Yes, sir.
How would a gun get in there?
I was at my cousin's. I spent the night there. He went out, came back. When I woke up to school, grabbed it, left, came here.
What's your cousin's name?
Ronald.
You spent the night there last night?
Yes, sir.
Who else was with you?
Just me and him.
Just you and him?
Yeah.
Okay. So, they're saying that you said there might be a gun in my backpack.
No, I said there might be weed in my backpack. I was referring to the weed the whole time. I did not know there was a gun in my backpack.
Okay.
Who is Mohammed Abdi?
No.
And who is Caleb Warts?
That's Caleb's ID. He goes here.
I got that. Why is it in your wallet?
Because that's my friend Caleb.
Why do you have his ID?
Because he left it at the gym. And I picked it up. And I was supposed to give it to him.
Okay, why do you have somebody else's credit card?
That, I don't know.
Once again, he asserted that his cousin might have placed it there. However, he was promptly arrested on charges of unlawful possession of a firearm and possession of stolen property.
Realize it's a crime just to possess somebody else's credit card? This isn't a new wallet, man. This wallet's pretty beat up and old.
I got it from my cousin's. It was at his house. Picked it up. It's a wallet. Didn't check it. Put my stuff in it. Got it up this morning.
Okay, go ahead and stand up for me. Face wall. Okay, you're under arrest, okay?
The firearm is stolen, so you're in possession of a stolen firearm.
Alright, go and have a seat, okay? We'll get you down to the precinct here in a minute.
The tragic incident that occurred at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School resulted in the loss of 17 lives and left 17 others injured. The perpetrator, a 19-year-old former student named Nicholas Cruz, carried out an attack on February 14th of 2018 when he entered the school premises and indiscriminately opened fire on students and teachers. Prior to the shooting, Cruz recorded footage on his phone in which he chillingly articulated his detailed plans.
Here's the plan. I'm gonna go take an Uber in the afternoon before 2:40. From there, I'll go onto school campus, walk up the stairs, unload my bags, and get my AR and shoot people down at the main courtyard. Await, and people will die.
Expressing his intent for people to lose their lives, he spoke in a remarkably composed manner about his brutal intentions.
Today is the day that it all begins. The day of my massacre shall begin. All the kids in school will in fear and hide. From the wrath of my power, they will know who I am. I am nothing, I am no one. My life is nothing and meaningless. Everything that I hold dear, I let go beyond your half. Every day I see the world ending another day. I live a lone life, live in seclusion and solitude. I hate everyone and everything. With the power of my AR, you will all know who I am. I had enough of being told what to do and when to do. I had enough of telling me that I'm an idiot and a dumbass. But in real life, you're all the dumbass. You're all stupid and brainwashed by these fucking political government programs. You will all see, you will all know who my name is.
During the court proceedings, both the jurors and the general public had the opportunity to witness the video, providing first-hand insight into how Cruz portrayed himself and his outlook on the world. In his recorded statement, he mentions his aim to take the lives of at least 20 people, a goal he tragically came close to achieving.
My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people. With an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds, I think I can get done. Location is Stone Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event. And when you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am. You're all going to die. Yeah. Can't wait.
Subsequently, Cruz was found guilty and received a sentence of 34 consecutive life terms. In 2021, a tragic event unfolded when 15-year-old Ethan Crumley entered Oxford High School, located just outside Detroit, and committed the horrifying act of taking the lives of 4 students while injuring 7 others. Within this devastating context, cell phone footage captured from inside a classroom depicts students reacting to the presence of sheriff's office personnel knocking on the door.
Sheriff's office! Yeah, we're here.
Faced with the uncertainty as to the unknown person's intentions, the students opted not to open the door. Instead, they made the courageous decision to escape through the window, seeking refuge in another area of the school.
Yeah, he said it's safe to come out.
Now, we're not willing to take that risk right now. I can't hear you. We're not taking that risk right now. Okay, well, come to the door and look at my bag, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He said bro.
He said bro. Red flag.
Where readily identifiable sheriffs ensured their safety. Furthermore, footage from the officers' body cams revealed the suspect in custody at the local jail, where he is shown engaging in prayer and seeking forgiveness, while officers maintain his secure custody. This footage appears to depict Crumley as someone grappling with a range of severe mental issues. However, it is noteworthy that both he and his parents faced charges in connection with this incident. In the case of his parents, their actions included not only overlooking their son's previous behavioral concerns, but also purchasing a firearm for the underage youth. On Mother's Day in 2021, the tragic discovery of 13-year-old Tristan Bailey's lifeless body sent shockwaves through the community. She had suffered a horrifying fate, having been brutally stabbed a staggering 114 times. The alleged perpetrator was a fellow student, 14-year-old Aiden Fucci, who had lured her into going for a walk before carrying out the horrifying act. A disconcerting video surfaced on social media, depicting Fucci seated in the back of a police car at his school, seemingly in high spirits, making light-hearted remarks and even calling out to Tristan as if to continue their walk.
Having fun in a cop car.
Yep. Tristan. What's up, guys? Yep. Tristan, if you walk out the damn...
However, surveillance footage from the night of the murders captured Tristan and Fucci walking down the streets as companions. Moments later, Fucci can be seen walking alone in the opposite direction, holding his shoes. Intriguingly, footage from Fucci's residence showed him arriving home very late and taking care not to disturb his family. The narrative takes another twist the following day, with footage allegedly showing Fucci's mother engaging in activities like scrubbing his jeans and potentially tampering with evidence after sheriffs had taken her son into custody. This raised questions about her potential involvement in a cover-up. In 2022, a tragic incident unfolded at Atlantic Station in Atlanta, Georgia, resulting in the fatal shooting of a 15-year-old boy and an innocent 12-year-old bystander. The event involved a total of 3 assailants, and unfortunately, 6 other teenagers were caught in the crossfire, with the apparent target being Cameron Jackson. Surveillance footage obtained after the shooting reveals the suspects arriving at the station as a group, but what is particularly distressing is that the 12-year-old victim, Zion Charles, had been with the company just moments before the tragic incident. Shortly after the shooting, the group moved to a different station across the street, where they can be seen engaging in celebratory gestures and handshakes. While 2 of the shooters, aged 15 and 16, were apprehended shortly afterwards, the circumstances surrounding the involvement of their friend Zion in this tragic incident remain unknown. While the United States is often associated with a high rate of violent crime, it's important to recognize that no country is immune to such violence. The tragic case of young Alicia McPhail serves as a stark reminder of this reality. On July 2, 2018, in North Lanarkshire, Scotland, Aaron Campbell enters the McPhail residence with the intention of stealing cannabis. Discovering 6-year-old Alicia asleep, he proceeds to abduct, assault, and ultimately take her life. Home security footage captured Campbell's suspicious behavior on the day of the abduction, as he repeatedly moves around the front and backyards, often returning with a flashlight in hand. He was subsequently found guilty of the child's murder and is currently serving a prison sentence. In another incident in the United States, the Volusia County Sheriff's Department had to address a situation where a teenager brought a firearm to school. The incident, which occurred on March 8, 2022, was captured on video. In the footage, police officers, accompanied by a school resource officer, entered the gymnasium of Atlantic High School. They located the student, instructed him to raise his hands, and then escorted him into the hallway.
You don't know? Okay. All right. Do me a favor. Keep your hands out of your pockets for me. Take your backpack off for me. All right, so somebody reported that they have a photo of you, and in the photo it looks like there's some sort of a weapon sticking out of a pocket, or take your hands out of your pockets, okay? Do me a favor, just lift your sweatshirt up, turn around for me. Turn around again, lift your sweatshirt up again. What is that? Relax, okay?
Following a brief investigation, they identified the firearm, which the young man had stolen from a relative. Notably, in this case, law enforcement and school authorities were alerted to the student's actions through a TikTok post earlier that day. Although the video itself was harmless, school officials noticed that the student appeared to have a firearm concealed in his waistband. Consequently, he faced charges of possessing a firearm on school premises, grand theft of a firearm, and carrying a concealed weapon. Late one night, 18-year-old Edward Redmond received a text while on a bus, informing him that the 17-year-old boy he had stabbed in the heart less than 30 minutes earlier had died. In a state of distress, Redmond hastily rose from his seat, paced the bus aisles, and urgently made phone calls. The stabbing incident had taken place at a house party in Colchester, arising from a dispute between two teenagers concerning alcohol. Redmond was subsequently sentenced to 17 years in prison, and both his father and brother were apprehended for their involvement in attempting to conceal evidence for the young man. Upon receiving a call reporting a woman napping in her car at a gas station, the police promptly responded to the scene. They lightly tapped on her window, hoping to understand her situation. As soon as she opened the door, it became apparent that she was under the influence of a potent substance. She offered a swift and almost rehearsed explanation, stating that she was merely waiting for someone who was supposed to send her money for gas.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm sorry. I've been waiting for someone to send me money.
What's that?
I've been waiting on somebody to send me money for gas.
You're out of gas? Do you remember being woken up this morning?
Yes. And I
Jeez, when you
fell
canceled
back
this?
to sleep shortly after that. I'm so tired.
Where you from?
It's cold.
It's cold.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be bringing you some gas money.
Well, they're supposed to be sending it on Cash App.
Okay. Do you need EMS for anything?
No.
What's that?
No.
No? Okay. Have you drank anything, took anything that made you pass out?
No, I just have been up for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
When the officers requested her identification, she searched her bag in a disorganized manner and failed to produce it.
Is there a gun in this bag?
No, there's not a gun here.
Okay. All right, well, Parker told me there's ammo, so I just want to make sure there wasn't a gun in the bag itself.
The owner of this vehicle, the original owner of the vehicle, hasn't.
So you're not the registered owner?
Not at the moment, no.
What do you mean not at the moment?
He went to jail a couple days ago.
For what?
I don't know, he had a warrant out of town. And said that basically he'll be gone in a while, so tell me what the title was and everything, and keep on to it, because he'd rather.
No, you can still look for your ID. Do you mind if I look in there and look for your ID?
Yeah, I mind.
Okay. So you don't have a ID, driver's license, nothing?
ID number, that helps.
Okay.
Ow.
I saw you're sitting on a car. There's something underneath you. Would that be it? No, it's up underneath you. Is that it? All right, what's your last name?
Last night I ran out of gas in Atmore.
How do you spell your last name?
Yeah.
C-A-R-C.
What is it?
That's
He falls asleep, so that it's like a crime now.
So what is it?
Tired, I'm wrong.
What's your first name?
Can I get answers, please?
Well, I'm asking you for your name.
The initial conversation remained civil, with the officers displaying considerable patience. However, as it progressed, the woman began to feel that her rights were being infringed upon.
So, are you a convicted felon or are you not a convicted felon?
I mean,
Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Have you been charged with a felony and convicted of a
Is
felony?
that a felony habitual driving?
What's that?
Is that a felony habitual driving?
Well, it is a felony, but what matters is if you've been convicted of a felony.
What does that matter? What do you mean
Go and
that's
step
what
out for me,
matters?
okay? Step out.
What do you mean?
Step out the car. Go and step out.
Please talk to me.
We are, but we need you to step out.
She repeated her story about waiting for gas money, despite the presence of a $100 bill in her pocket, discovered by the officers without much effort. This raised the suspicion that the car might have been stolen.
Put your hands behind your back.
Can I hold us?
Oh, it's going to take a second.
Okay.
You need to tell me now.
No, he's going to talk to me first, and then we'll talk to you.
I have rights too, you know.
Yes, ma'am, we know. And we're not violating your rights.
Yeah, you are.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
You cannot detain me without telling me anything.
Yes, ma'am, we can.
No, you can't. As a matter of fact, you cannot.
You have it home. I'll make sure she ain't got none of her pockets.
I don't, you know, please tell me what's going on.
Well, right now, there's a report from back on the 19th of this car being stolen.
On the 19th, from the man that went to jail that told me to drive it? No, you cannot arrest me for this car. I was given this car.
We're trying.
You want to see my text messages?
Just relax, okay? Right now, you're being detained.
And when questioned about her connection to the owner, she stammered, "I've known him for a while back."
How do you know him?
I met him. I met him a while back.
Okay. All right.
I met him. Oh, yeah.
Her demeanor shifted to making demands, including calling someone named Sergeant Caleb.
You need to call Sergeant Caleb, like right now.
Sergeant who?
Caleb!
Who's Sergeant Caleb?
Well, you'll know when you call the number. It's in my phone.
I'm not calling anybody.
You're supposed to. I'm supposed to tell you that.
You're supposed to tell me a sergeant.
All right, keep on. You're supposed to.
I'm not going to call Sergeant Caleb.
County.
Because I don't know a Sergeant Caleb.
Really? That's his first name.
Okay, well, I don't know people by their first name. We go by last names.
Well, I'll give you the phone number. I'm told to tell y'all to call him.
Roger that.
Multiple meth pipes were found in the car, indicating the cause of the behavior. The officers were astounded by the number of pipes they found.
How many freaking meth pipes can you find in one vehicle? Dude, these meth pipes don't stop. I've got 2 more back here. There's 1, 2 on the front, and then 4 right here.
The officer read her Miranda rights, repeating them to ensure she heard and understood.
If you're claiming insurance, you're responsible for anything inside that vehicle.
I didn't say it was mine.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did?
Yes,
Or did I say that someone told me to hold on to it while they went to jail?
Okay, if you're driving it, you have possession of it, which means everything within said vehicle is yours.
Please call the officer that I told you. Like you said, if you get in trouble, tell them.
You have the right to remain silent.
Do you hear me?
Anything you say can be used against you in court.
You need to call this guy first and figure out what's going on. Thank you.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and have him with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you for any question if you wish. If you decide to answer questions without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop at any time. You also have the right to stop answering any time to speak to a lawyer. Do you understand the rights I just read to you?
No. What are y'all
I'll read them again.
Amid her unraveling, she claimed to be a confidential informant.
So you can understand your rights, okay?
I said I don't understand what I'm being arrested for.
All right, so
there's a title that...
You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
I do. What am I being arrested for?
Anything you say can be used against you in court. Do you understand that?
I was specifically told by a guy way above your pay grade, buddy, that if you are ever in trouble, tell them to call me.
Well, good for him, whoever he is, or she.
He's a sergeant of the DEA.
Oh, well, good for him.
So call
But
him.
he's not here.
He said to tell y'all to call him.
I'm not
shit, he's not here.
So,
all right.
Anything you say can be used against you in court.
Arrogant.
Do you understand that?
I understand you're done. This is so funny.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and have him with you during questions.
Can I speak to the other guy? See what he thinks?
No.
Yeah.
Sir,
you're supposed to call Sergeant Caleb for the DA. Thank you.
If we haven't made contact with the owner, we could seize it for safekeeping to return to said owner.
Right.
While the woman was confined in the police cruiser, the officers had to decide what to do with the stolen vehicle.
Seize it, or if he just wants us to tow it. I would take pictures of it, of everything.
Yeah. Well, it's on my body cam where it came out of.
They continued to explain the reasons for her arrest, but she persisted in yelling and ranting.
Arrest for possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of ammo by a convicted felon.
No, well, that was under a legal search then, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm
yes,
sorry
sir.
you feel that way.
I promise you cannot touch that vehicle if I didn't steal it. I need to talk to that guy. Illegal search! Excuse me, I need to speak to you, sir. They won't listen to me. I need to speak to you. They won't listen to me, sir. And now they know they're in trouble, so they're lying.
Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.